I was 4 years old when I learnt that people could lie. It was a good lesson. I've watched for lies in everyone ever since. The trouble is, you have to have a good memory to be a good liar, and that's an ability not everybody has. The first lie. It was late at night, autumn I think, and I was in bed warm and cosy with my little sister Katie curled against my back. We had coats on top of the bed to keep us warm, as there were only so many blankets to go around and there was no central heating. I was startled awake by raised voices and the front door slamming violently. I rubbed my eyes and waited, straining my ears for any familiar sound. My little sister stirred but didn't wake. Slowly the door to our bedroom opened, showering light from the landing into our room. Our mother stood there. Hurrying to my side of the bed, she pulled the covers off me and shook me awake, telling me urgently to get up. The cold night air hit my skin, giving me goosebumps. She picked up my little sister and gently shook her awake too. Taking us both downstairs, she told us to put on our shoes and then open the front door. A cold blast of night air hit us as we stared out blearily eyed into the darkness. It was raining gently. In a hushed voice, she told us to go and bring our father back. I could see him by the light of the street lamp, striding down the road away from our home, wearing his usual Trilby hat. We ran after him, shouting, "Dad! Dad!" until he stopped and turned around. He stared at us running towards him in the rain, our night dresses gently soaking in the puddles. He held out his arms and gathered us to his chest, easily lifting our combined weight, and took us both to the safety of our home. He towelled our hair and changed our night dresses and made sure we were dry and consoled, and then tucked us back into our still warm bed. He kissed my forehead, looking at me with his warm brown eyes, and told me not to worry, and then left to go downstairs. The bedroom door closed and the light that engulfed the room was stilled, and I was back to the dark and the warmth, but I could not sleep. My little sister whimpered in her sleep, but I stayed awake listening to the angry voices downstairs, fearful and wide awake. The next morning, Katie was ill. She was running a temperature and quite fractious and wouldn't eat her breakfast. My mother was worried. My little sister had been premature and had always been sickly. She was so small when she came home from hospital and had a tinge of yellow to her skin. She slept in the bottom drawer of my mother's dressing table, and she looked lost in that. My mother was very protective of her, something she would live to regret. The doctor was called and he came quite quickly. By then she was much worse. An ambulance was called and my parents were told she had pneumonia and had to go into hospital immediately. I had no idea what pneumonia was, but from the worried looks on my parents' faces, I knew it wasn't good. I went outside and waited, watching for the ambulance to come. The sight of them all makes me go cold even now. I sat on the square of grass outside our red brick council house, managing to avoid any dog mess which littered the place. The children played here, but we weren't allowed to come out and join them. My mum was strict about that, but no one was watching me today. The grass that I sat on was bordered on 3 sides by identical houses all like ours, with a small front garden and a metal gate. I had no idea what a council house was until much later in life. The ambulance came with its lights flashing and bowering in. It was a very scary sight to a 4-year-old. My little sister was carried into the back of the ambulance by the doctor. She was crying. She called out to our mum to come with her, but my mum just stood there. And then she said, I will follow you with Dad. But she didn't. I watched her face, and her expression didn't change, but from then on I could always see that lie etched on her face till the day she died. That was the first lie.